What is up, you gorgeous, fabulous creatures, and welcome to a brand new week of the Losing It podcast. You're here with Kylie Pax, Australia's emotional eating coach, and I am thrilled and delighted, as always, to have you here. Honey, this is the place where we set up camp. If you're stuck in emotional eating hell, if you're dealing with binge eating for the last 30 years and you're just wondering how are you ever going to make it to the magical land of weight loss, then you have landed in the right place, because today we are talking about 3 big ass lies that I had to let go of before I could stop binge eating, stop emotional eating, and finally start losing some weight. Now, for all my girls who are in perimenopause or actual menopause, you've hit the other side of the rainbow, found your pot of gold. I know so many women are like, oh, menopause is terrible. Like, I can't lose weight. I'm like, really? I think it's fucking fabulous. Like, finally, no more periods. It's worth the hell that you go through just to not have a menstrual cycle. Can we all just agree on that? At least. But here is 3 big ass lies that I had to let go of before I could start seeing success, because without it, I was keeping myself on a hamster wheel of torture, deprivation, restriction, constantly dieting fresh every new Monday, stuffing my face again every Sunday night. And when I finally realized that these 3 things that I'm about to share with you today were complete bullshit, that is what changed the entire game for me. Now, I'm tossing up which one I'm going to start with, because I'm wondering how many of you babes are actually in perimenopause or menopause like me. Because, you know, your girl's in her 50s now. And I think I'm 50 and fucking fabulous. As Samantha from Sex and the City said, I'm embracing it. I am 50 and fucking fabulous. And this is my era. I have never felt so good. I'm just going to say it. I don't really care. I've never looked so good. I have never been more confident. I am in my thriving era. So I'm embracing this time. This is the best fucking time of my life. But I will say that once I let go of this first lie that the diet industry was telling me, I think I must work for the eating industry. The diet industry was telling me this lie. That is when I was really able to start seeing the scale shift. And this is the one that holds all of us back. This doesn't matter whether you're 18 or 58. This one is holding you back. You think, sis, come on now. I know this is true. You think that you have to get your eating, and I'm saying this with the air quotes, you have to get your eating perfect. Otherwise, you'll never be able to lose weight. One tiny crumb of some shit that you eat that isn't on your fancy plan, and you fucked it all up. That's it. Perfect eating streaks are what drive us to binges. They're not what drive you to the land of weight loss. It's not a fucking Uber. No, perfect eating streaks are not the Uber that you get into to go to the land of weight loss. They're not. They're actually the Uber that you get into that is driven by some badass demon. And that's what takes you to the land of binge eating. And we are giving that shit up today. You think right now that perfect eating streaks, because, you know, this is kind of what the diet industry tells us, has to be like, you got to get your eating perfect, got to get it right. So we think perfect eating streaks are what is going to give us everything we've ever wanted. If I can just get my eating perfect, I'm going to get the body that I want. I'm going to get the man that I want. I'm going to get the family that I want. I'm going to get rid of the man that I don't want. You think all this shit awaits you when you get your eating perfect. And so every Monday we get our little asses out of bed, little booty crawls out of bed. You're like, today is the day I am going to get my eating perfect and nothing is going to get in my way. Do you like that? It's a little Disney rhyme. But honey, here's the truth. Perfect eating streaks don't actually build your confidence. What they build within you is fear. Because the second you think that you lost a kilo just because you got your eating perfect that week, then you start really shitting yourself, because you think the only way to lose weight is by getting your eating perfect. And so one tiny slip up ruins everything. And then you're stuffing your face, promising yourself you're going to get it better tomorrow. You'll do better tomorrow and you'll get your eating perfect. You'll get it right tomorrow. But here is where the big switch flipped for me. And I suddenly, well, it wasn't really suddenly, it happened slowly over a period of years, but I realized that consistency, on the other hand, is what builds confidence. Consistency builds confidence because then once you remain consistent, whether you've been perfect or not, you just keep showing the fuck up. That is when you know that you can really trust yourself to get this job done because you're going to show up no matter whether the circumstances were perfect or not. And that is how you lose weight. You never lost weight because you got your eating perfect. You lost weight because you kept showing the fuck up. Can we all just be real, please? Look back over your dieting history, girls. Let's all take a little trip down memory fucking lane. Nobody lost a substantial amount of weight because they got their eating perfect. How can I know that this is true? Because it's fucking impossible to get your eating perfect for an extended period of time. Consistency, on the other hand, however, you can keep showing up every day, no matter what the hell is going on in your life, whether situations are good or bad, circumstances are good or bad, you just keep showing up. You show up and you do that walk around the block. You show up and you keep on having the salad that you promised yourself you were going to have every day. You can have your pasta and all the burgers and the things for your other meals, but you promised yourself you were going to have at least one salad a day, and you were consistently doing that. And then as you started to build your own confidence through consistency, now you added in some more layers. Well, now I've done the salad for 2 months, so now I'm going to add in walking around the block. And now you do those things for another 2 months. You've been consistent. Your little ass been real consistent, and you're getting more and more confident. Well, now I'm going to add in following Kylie's eating codes because I'm starting to feel really good. And you get the free course over at KyliePacks.com/free course, or just hit the link in the show notes and you start following my eating codes. Well, now the weight loss is really I want to say skyrocketing, but I want to make sure it's not going in the wrong direction. Your weight loss is really, really happening now. You're seeing big ass results. Everything is amazing. You're feeling good because you keep showing up, whether it's a great day or whether it's a shit day, whether your situation has been amazing or whether you got fired that day. You keep showing up. You don't drown your emotions in pizza just because you've had a bad day. Your feelings do not want snacks. They don't need them. They don't know how to process them. Your fat cells, on the other hand, they know very well what to do with that food. So that was the first lie that I had to let go of, was that perfection was never what was going to get me to my weight loss goal, but consistency, that was the magic key. Now, the second lie that I had to let go of is a big one, and this one comes through the medical industry, but if we really got our information right, we would realize that perimenopause, look, I can only tell you for me, perimenopause, it did smack me upside the head. And I felt like suddenly my body was thinking, let's just gain weight for fun. Let's just do this. I will be very honest and tell you, yes, I did start gaining weight in areas that I've never gained weight before. I was suddenly noticing I've always had a very tiny waist, small stomach. That was never an issue for me. I carry all my weight on the bottom half of my body, ass, thighs, legs. That's where my weight goes. But once I hit perimenopause, well, I just started getting a stomach just for funsies. And I understand that and I get that, but it doesn't mean that I'm doomed to stay there forever. That's the lie, because the real tea is that you think your hormones are making you fat. And then we use excuses. Well, it's just menopause. There's nothing I can do. No, that's complete bullshit. Every time I stepped on the scale, I wanted to eat chips instead of, moving my body. I had to remind myself that my hormones are not my overlords. They help run the show, but they are not the king of the fucking castle. So I got real with myself and I started making some shifts. I did start doing some strength training just a couple of times a week. Not like a bodybuilder. I'm not going to be in the WWF, whatever it's called. You're not going to find me there. I just started lifting things that maybe were a kilo heavier or more a few times a week, because I know that that's good for my metabolism. It's good for my bone strength and muscle and skeletal system as I'm getting older. I started prioritizing my sleep because, zombie chic. I mean, I'm fabulous, honey, but zombie chic is not my look. And then I started eating food that really helped to keep me full and fuel me for a little bit longer. So yeah, that is protein, which is all the buzzword at the moment, but it does help. As a vegan, I say vegan, I don't even really use that term anymore, but as a plant-based eater, because I do have meat from time to time. I don't eat red meat purely because I don't like it, But periodically, I will have some white meat. I'll have fish or maybe some chicken breast if Phil cooks it because he does it really well. But otherwise, I'm really plant-based because that's what I like. So I eat a lot of tofu. I will have tuna if that's the vibe. I have been prioritizing more protein, but just purely because it helps to fill me up and keep me satiated. But it's okay. If you want to have the pizza, understand. You need to get my eating codes. It's fine. But you've got to make sure that you take control of your thinking. Your thinking is not the master of you. So it's not your hormones. Your hormones may be, how can I say? Let's not delude ourselves. Your hormones are definitely shifting and changing, but it doesn't mean that you're doomed to a life of elephantitis. That's not a thing. The last and final thing that I had to let go of, and babe, this applies to all of us, is the big lie. We all fall into this bucket. What's the point? I'm too old. I'm too far gone. I'm too heavy now. I'm too far down the track. I'm never going to be able to do this. Honey, please, this one had me in a chokehold until I realized that, very similar to what I said in point number one about the consistency, until I realized that really small habits are what make big waves. I did remain stuck there, and you will too. So I started doing small things like meal prepping or because I'm not super big on meal prepping, like I'll just cook a big batch of something and then leave that in the fridge. And for me, that's meal prepping. I'm not putting shit in little containers and like labeling it Monday through to Sunday. I don't roll like that. That's fine if you do that. I think that's really great, and high levels of organization are very functional for those of us that enjoy it. But I want to know that I've got a decent amount of food that's ready to go, and then I'll choose what I want at the time. I also adhere really closely to my second eating code, which is follow your plan and not your mood. So I make a plan every morning. This is what I intend to eat. These are the foods that I choose to have for my meals. And I do it every morning because 6 a.m. Kylie, she's got my best interests in mind, at heart. She gives a shit. 6 a.m. Kylie gives a shit that I reach my weight loss goals. 6 p.m. Kylie, she doesn't give a shit. Not at all. She wants to eat chocolate and Doritos and order Uber Eats for dinner. So I have to make sure that 6 a.m. Kylie has already locked me in for the day. She's got my back. She's got me covered. She's my fucking bestie. She knows what I want. She knows what I need, and she's there to make sure it happens. So I follow my plan and not my mood. So meal prepping was like, okay, it's more than what's in the pantry. Oh, cookies. Okay, let's go. No, for me, it is about cooking big batches of soup, making batches of salad that will last 2 to 3 days, maybe two days for salad. But doing those types of things while focusing on how I feel while I eat those meals. And what I mean by that is using my third eating code number 3, which is stop eating at 80% full. That is your magical weight loss code. If you're thinking, this is all great information, Kylie, but how do I use this to lose weight? You use my third eating code. So you all know there's 5 of them. I go through them all through the series really quickly. The first eating code is to, now I can't remember. Eating code number 1 is you eat when you're hungry, you don't eat when you're not. The second eating code is to follow your plan and not your mood. The third eating code is to stop eating at 80% full, and that is the magic weight loss code. The fourth eating code is that your feelings don't get to vote, which basically means when 6 o'clock at night rolls around, 8, 9 o'clock at night rolls around, and my taste buds and my feelings and my emotions are all just like, it's been such a long day. You deserve a treat. And they're whispering all those evil little things in my ears. That's when I remember eating code number 4. It's like, no, honey, my feelings don't get to vote. I don't need this shit. I already made a plan today. I don't need to sabotage myself like some dumbass that's got like amnesia and I can't remember what I'd promised myself that morning. No, I'm going to follow my plan and not my mood. And then the 5th eating code, of course, is to act like the person you want to become. And that is where you want to repeat after me, honey, and remind yourself, I am never too old to look and feel sexy as fuck. And let that be your new mantra. You're welcome. Okay. So my darlings, if you are all ready to to have me get up in your grill, then you want to be inside of the Bombshell Blueprint with us, because that is where this shit is happening. I give you brand new modules. Every single month we get bonus courses, live calls with me every week, all your questions answered. Is it 200? There's over 200 recipes in there, plus no limitations. There's no limitations. We have meditations, visualizations, talk tracks, and sleep tracks in there, which literally So many of our members have told me, they message me and they're like, Kylie, I've lost like 15, 20 kilos just from listening to the sleep tracks alone. You can get skinny in your sleep, and you can only do that inside of the Bombshell Blueprint. So if you want to know more, hit the link in the show notes or come find me over at kyliepax.com/blueprint. And I cannot wait to see you again next week. Until then, my gorgeous ones, bye for now. Thank you so much for tuning in. Remember to shimmy your butt over to kyliepax.com and join me inside of the Bombshell Blueprint so you can stop emotional eating and start losing your weight now. You'll also find helpful notes and resources inside my past podcasts that will help you lose your weight without losing your sanity. I will see you next week.